right, so one of the firecrackers of the night, Ramses and Marissa. So I think everyone, or at least, when did you feel like, yeah, they ain't gonna make it?
When he started talking about how he's used to having more affection, or was it attention, or both? And she was like, well, I'm on my period, I was sick last week, I've been working, I have to commute longer to come back to this apartment, like all those things in the kitchen. And he was just kind of talking about how like, oh, but I'm used to more affection, yada yada. And I think that's when the birth control talk came up.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, around that time I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought when she chose him over Bowden because the Leo Cancer, I was like...
Cancer Leo.
That don't sound right. It's probably right, though.
Is any of it? No, it's good.
So when she chose... Like, I know maybe the camera, maybe the editing just framed it that way, but because it looked that way to me, that she was basically choosing this guy over this other guy simply because he was the perfect... astrology match. I was like, nah, that never works. Like choosing somebody solely based off of astrology is because you have a good vibe with them rarely ever works. So yeah, and then when they started to get more into their relationship, and then he spoke about his opinions on the army or serving in the military in general, and they kept having that little strife. They kept having that.
I forgot about that. That's when I knew they weren't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the other couple seasons ago, the ones that didn't have sex the entire time on, while they were on the show, because they were so worried. Like he just seemed like he was so worried about her getting pregnant, and she was like, "Well, I'm not taking birth control." Them having that conversation ended up working out for them anyway. Mm-hmm. So I take that back. Yeah, them having that conversation is not what did it. It was that veteran thing that was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, some people aren't able to make better choices for themselves in certain circumstances. If I see this as a way to provide for myself, this is a way to be respected in my community and to be honored, then that is the path I'm going to take. Now, it may have been the wrong path, and there may be, oh, you're funding genocide, you're helping them just take over third world countries, and that all can be true, but I'm at this level. I'm not at that level where I can make decisions and turn tides of wars. I'm at this level. And if I want to feel comfortable and secure about my career, this is the path that I need to take. And I think people shouldn't judge people off of the ways they choose to spend their life. I think that's a weird reason to judge somebody.
Just someone off their job is crazy in itself to me. It's like that UK couple from that UK Love is Blind season or whatever, and he judged her for being a makeup artist.
Oh, yeah. Because that sound, but for him, I would say like a makeup artist doesn't really sound like a real job. Like an event planner is kind of, well, I guess it doesn't want to sound
like
that
could be job. You just go to parties or you house parties. I
agree.
But I mean, I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying. How vets are obviously not makeup artists. A lot more sacrifice, time, dedication, all those things. Bravery at times too. So it just, you can not support the military and still have someone in your life, friend or otherwise, that was a vet or is a vet or whatever, and still respect them. I just feel like he lost respect for her kind of in that conversation, and it's just like, really? Yeah. And she's talking about growing up on bases and stuff, and you don't think that naturally, it's like a kid that always goes to baseball games. Might grow up and want to go be part of baseball in some way, So it's just like, how are you? And you're like blaming her, like she went and single-handedly fought in Iraq and killed a bunch of people. Like it's just crazy.
I think he's one of those thinking that it's fruit of the poisonous tree. So, like, even though you're not the whole tree, you're still a fruit that was on that tree, so you're just as poison.
Like, he's not perfect either. Like, how many things does he buy? Like, a lot of fashion is not ethical.
Nobody thinks that through. Nobody thinks what they do is wrong.
It's crazy. Like, he's a fashionista, right? Okay, well, a lot of fashion is not ethical. Ethically sourced. The people that are doing these things are not necessarily paid well. diamond trade, like all those things have their sours and negatives tied to some form of genocide or child labor, or poor working conditions and all, and goodness, losing the words. What is it? The air, when the air is
air quality?
Pollution.
Oh, pollution.
Goodness gracious. Adding to pollution, global warming. I'm sure he uses a smartphone that contains, what is it, cobalt, and that's farmed over here, and that uses children. Like, you're not clean. None of us, especially in America, where none of us are seen as clean because our taxes fund this stuff, even though we didn't know. We thought we were funding it, public stuff that we get to use eventually, but no. That was all a lie. So he's not, and I'm sure he pays taxes. So again, like in some way, shape, or form, you are a fruit, you're a seed, you're a leaf, you're a caterpillar on a leaf. It doesn't matter. You're part of that poisonous tree. Yeah. With the rest of us, you're not perfect, you're not pure. So it was just really crazy for him to be so like rudely passionate, dissing her for her at the time career choice. She's obviously in school now to do a whole different career that's around justice. For her, joining the military might have been another form of service of justice. Like, correct. So it's just like, make it make sense. But he can't. Because,
All right. Well, since he can't make it make sense, did he at least end it correctly?
He ended it in the right time. I don't think he ended it correctly. I'm glad, as her mom said, very maturely. I was quite surprised. I thought it was going to be a little bit of like a Bad Girls Club reunion.
Right, yeah.
But no, she was just like, I'm thankful that he cut it off before they got married, before the legal papers were signed, like all of that. So yeah, he ended it in a timely manner, but I don't think he ended it correctly, because it's like you knew the things that you were at least saying were your reason. You've been known, and you were just trying to keep making it work instead of voicing to her your doubts sooner or anything like that. And for him to, what was it? Didn't he say like it was cool when we were on vacation, but when we got back and the work started to come in, it was just harder because he wanted more of his own space or something like that. He was like going so roundabout as well,
I think so,
talking in circles just to get to the point of just saying you're too much for me. But instead it was like this whole conversation of like, I don't know. I just feel like everyone looking at it was just like, about what? What about? Wait, what are you saying? What? Like...
Yeah, I think he was just saying you're too, not happy, but excited. You're too high energy. You're too high energy. Like I need you to be more relaxed, more nonchalant. You're too serious as well, maybe, because you have a career and he didn't. I think he was like a project coordinator or something like that.
That could have been his.
So, I think there's...
She was in school, too, so she was... Yeah. Is she?
Either way. Yeah, like I said, I saw it in the pods after that question. I think she had a more connection with Bowden. I think he was also ex-military.
He was, I'm not mistaken, and had the same energy. And she was, happy that Ramses' energy was lower to hopefully balance her out. Maybe that would have been a better connection, as long as Bodhi could have been serious when it was time to be serious. He wasn't like overly jovial every time of the day, and there was a sense of protectiveness or seriousness or immaturity about Bodhi. I think they would have made it just fine. But no, Ramses, I don't know. Like, I get people wanting to like, do you agree with that notion of like wanting to date someone who's the opposite energy type as you? Like, I can see you as a high energy woman, like a Marissa.
Yeah, I want to say no. I mean, it depends on what you mean by opposites, I guess.
I mean, you're not low energy. Like, you know me, I'm a bit of an Eeyore. So I don't get too excitable.
But I'm not super optimistic. Peppy. So I just don't carry that high energy, but I have that high expectation and that positive energy, I think. Just because I don't speak like, oh, I'm super happy, blah, blah, blah. Like that, I still have that positive energy. I just don't express it that way. So I think if we're getting on that level, it's more of how she expresses her energy is what he didn't like. Like she could be positive, but
yeah.
but she just like expressed it too
Right. The package was
aggressively.
very like high vibration, like
Right. So
excited.
So
You
yeah,
could
I
be positive
think
all day, but you were excited behind
so.
it
That's
as well.
yeah. That's how I would explain his issue with it, because you can be a positive person without having that much energy. So yeah, I definitely think that they try. You know, they both showed who they really were as a person, and Marissa was willing to make it work. It was just Ramses who, because he had already went through that divorce, he was like, I know exactly where this is going.
Yeah, he already seemed like he needed to do some, I keep saying therapy, but therapy or some type of work through from that marriage, kind of get that figured out as to why it ended for them and where he could have been better, what she didn't do for him that he needed. So he knows to look for that in the next relationship. Like, and obviously the whole concept of the time that they have together before they must commit is obviously a little daunting to actually force people. Like some people get married in a month of knowing each other. Those
Right.
stories exist plenty of times, but for it to kind of be this pressure and this literal show of you met, get married, like all of those things I can see definitely playing a part in nervousness or like feeling like I don't fully trust this person, but I also don't fully trust them because I haven't known them for more than like 2 weeks or whatever. And it's like all these doubts because it's like speed train to the altar, instead of it being your choice that you're in a whirlwind romance and you just connect and that just works. Like you don't have time. Either you're gonna do it or you're not. Everybody has a camera in your face wanting to know you're gonna do it or not.
Right,
So yeah, the pressure I'm sure did not help, but it did seem like he could use a little bit of healing from his divorce, or at least a little bit more of a confidence of being a divorced man instead of making it seem like, yeah, I was married before. Like he's kind of having like, yeah, I was married before. This happened a little bit, and I'm better for it. Kind of having that more of a, I did it, it wasn't for me, whoops, but I'm ready for who I know is my person. Like that would carry a lot differently than you kind of just being like, yeah, and then keep wallowing in the fact that you're like, I don't know, I was married before, I don't want to get divorced again, I don't want to get divorced again. It's giving, you're panicky about it. You're not stable about that topic.
Right. Well, he didn't have that much faith in their love at the end of the day.
He said, he said there has to be more than love.
Right.
And so she was like, is that
because
what
I
we
don't
have?
have that much faith in our love. I need more. That's pretty
okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. So yeah, I guess we spent a little too much time on it. Fuck him. I mean, not sorry. Fuck Ramses. Well, no, Marissa was kind of acting wild towards Nick, but we'll get to that.